about Rangers here at 11 a.m. Exactly on the button. You don't disappoint here on this channel. You get it when you say you're going to get it. And everybody, smash that like button, and we're ready to rock and roll. Ready to go. Talk about the Europa League. All that good stuff against Lyon. Injury news. Yilmaz looks like he'll be back. Honestly, he's not getting another Yefty for me. But before we dive any more into that, we'll wait for more people to come in to the live stream, and then we'll talk about it some more. But obviously, beating Hibs, the 3 points is all that matters. You know, I've moved on for the negatives, and you know, we'll move on to the positives, which is we're sitting joint top of the Europa League group. We've got the mighty Lyon up next to Ibrox, which I think is a very good game for us to build more momentum. I mean, if you win and keep a clean sheet, that's 5 in a row. I don't think many people can complain with that in that sense of the word, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, everybody, and then we'll base it off. I mean, you've got Stade Bucharest as well after Lyon. Win that game. It could be 9 points out of 9 in the Europa League, but let's deal with Lyon first. Lyon's got a very, very good team, and we'll talk about Lyon right here, right now, but I'll just wait for a few people to get in. And I'll answer every question here. We're going to go to about 11:30, right? 11:30, everybody. And then that will do. So let's see here. Lyon. So obviously, Lyon's squad, you know, everyone will remember Lacazette. You've got Wilfred Zaha in there. Said Benarami. You've got Orban, but not the Orban that we all might remember, which, you know, used to play for Leipzig, I believe. Then you've got Georges Mikasantes, Ryan Cherki, Anthony Lopez. I mean, there's a lot of players in there. Nicolas Tagliafico. It's a good team. I can't even remember what Lyon did in the first Europa League group game, but you know what? I actually want to take a wee look at the Europa League group and see. Obviously, we're not sitting top, but we're near enough top at the end of the day. And I wanted to see what Lyon did in the first game, because that will tell us a lot. But see, it's pretty much so. Lyon won. Who did Lyon beat? They beat Olympiacos 2-0 at home. And Olympiacos, I mean, last time we played Olympiacos was last season in a pre-season friendly with the Scudder's 3-1, and the writing was harder than the wall. You could tell last season that even from an early stage such as that one, it wasn't going to be all that spectacular. But I mean, I guess there's other few things. I mean, I don't want to dive all into Lyon straight away, but ref watch, you know, we've heard some things. And obviously, if you want to see a more detailed version, there will be a video coming to Folk Football very soon regarding a ref watch. But I'll talk about John Suter, where Demick Gallagher said it was a red. No, not a red, sorry, a red. People wish it was a red. You can wish, but you're not getting a red. It was a penalty on John Suter. It's a handball. I mean, once upon a time, they actually are reds. I think, you know, you're blocking a shot on target with your hand. I mean, now they don't really get given unless, you know, Butland ain't there. We've seen it in the St Mirren and Motherwell game where Homewood got blocked in for going over the line, and rightfully so. I think it got disallowed. Well, not disallowed, but sent off, and then penalty, all that good stuff. I mean, it wasn't capitalised upon either at the same time. But, you know, if Butland's not there, I think it's got to be a red to Suter. But at the end of the day, Hibs missed it. Hibs are falling apart. But Michael Stewart, this is a bit of breaking. Michael Stewart claims that Rangers stand on the verge of crisis. Is Michael Stewart and Ibrox daft pundit? Spot clue meltdown isn't far away. They believe recent results have papered over the cracks. I will dive into this article here. I mean, I kind of said the same, I guess, after the Hibs game. I turned around and said, they were speaking on the Scottish Football Social Club, by the way. I turned around and said that, you know, you've seen at the end of Beale and Gio's reign, there's a lot of 1-0s in there. You know, getting over the line against the dross of the league, and yeah, I'll call Hibs to draw us the league just for the sake of this vid, because why not? Because they're not that good. Hibs, are they? A lot of Hibs fans like, oh, that was great performance. Great performance, poor result. That we were there to be beaten, and for whatever reason, Hibs just didn't. I don't understand why that's acceptable. Shows you a tin pot fan base, but this is what Hutton said. They huffed and puffed. This was off the back of a really good performance in Malmo, probably the best of the season. But I expected them to go and put their foot down. When Hibs get the penalty, and for me it was a penalty, I was worried. Thinking if it's 1-1, where does this end up? Hibs became the better team in the second half. Rangers struggled, and you could feel the tension build in the stadium. I kept on thinking as if they're one step away from being in a crisis. That's the moment it felt like. Going from an amazing performance to that, it was a worry. End of quote. I agree. I think confidence was. I mean, I don't want to say it was sky high after the Malmo game, but obviously it was a lot higher than what it is now. After the Malmo game, you're thinking, really good chance against Leon. That House game came around. Yeah, there was changes, but you know what? I think people need to forget about what changes were made in that game, because see, at the end of the day, Dessers, Bajrami, a few other players, they all come on. They all come on in the second half, and you should argue, well, you know what, they're fresher, they're coming on. Should we not have improved? And honestly, the second half performance was way worse than the first half. It was just, Kieran Dyle. I mean, what is Nico Raskin done to Philip? I mean, Raskin was not that good in the first half, right? But no one really was. I think the only player that can hold his head up for Rangers is Barron. I mean, Jack Butland saved the penalty, right? But I mean, I think most goalies would have saved the penalty. You've got to guess the right way, right? Suit back Jack Butland and goal. Get all that logic, but the penalty was piss poor. He had to save that. If that goes under him, man, we are absolutely slating him. So for me, Connor Barron, the only real guy with positives. I mean, it's another clean sheet, and I guess that's another positive to take. But I thought there was some defensive lapses in concentration that cost his goals. But Michael Stewart, he was obviously talking with Alan Hutton. He said, watching that game, after all the positivity in Sweden, had that result against Hibs not been 3 points, it would have been a crisis. The pressure would have been intense, and it would have been so much negativity thrown right back onto the team. It wasn't far away from being that. Hibs performed pretty well, but they didn't win. Rangers did. And that ultimately is the most important thing. And I think that's a nice wee closing thing to move away from the Hibs game for a Michael Stewart point of view, because at the end of the day, see, after this Leon game, after St Johnson game, when you're in the international break, it's the 3 points you're going to remember against Hibs. It's not how you done it. It's getting over the line, and that's what happened. It wasn't exactly great. It was poor. I think it's one step forward, two steps back with this team. Igamani, I've seen a lot of people slating him. I'm not going to say it's not fair. I think you can slate the guy all you want, because you know what, you're starting up front for Rangers. If you're not getting service, you can still make yourself involved. He was running down the wings, doing nothing, right? But I mean, the rest of the team was poor. So I think before we slate some new kid who started his first game, I think there's a lot of experienced heads that you've got to have a go at, man, that just didn't live up to the bill, didn't live up to the task, and they were pretty poor against a Hibs team that were a lot of their key. I mean, Martin Boyle, Newell, etc., etc. So it could have been a lot worse in terms of a Hibs team that was facing us. But yeah, we'll move away for the Hibs game. I mean, closing thoughts, we won, and that is all that matters, really. So, in the Philip Clement, I guess we'll talk about the presser. I think he's losing the plot. I mean, I already kind of addressed this the other day. I think it was Sunday night. Can't even remember when I did it. But it feels like he's having. I'm not going to describe it as a meltdown, right? I think it's just him trying to explain. He's obviously frustrated with the rules. I think we all are frustrated with the rules. He's trying to explain the rules in his way. But you've seen the memes. Oh, Tipson's 1999. He's putting his boot up. He's doing the whole, superhero pose. I don't know who does that, because I'm not a nerd. So he's doing that. And he's bouncing. He's flapping his gums, and it's like, I think he's deflecting from the fact that it wasn't that good of a performance. And it's like, come on, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I don't think it was a penalty, but overall it wasn't good enough for us. Yeah, we got the 3 points and we got over the line, but we're at home. It was a return to Ibrox. We should be doing more than just scrape it over the line. And I think when you look at it, we've got to do more than that. We've got to do more than just scraping over the line against Hibs. I mean, that was the first game back at a full Ibrox in the league. So obviously the attendance was higher than what the Dundee game had been. Apparently, you know, the atmosphere, I say apparently, I mean, I watched the game, the atmosphere wasn't that good. I mean, people saying who were there wasn't that good. You've got the Union Bears doing all the atmosphere and everyone else in the stand was doing nothing. Seems to be the general consensus over on Twitter. So, again, was it the correct move to move them from the corner to the middle? Honestly, to me, it just changes up with the silences. I think behind the goal is a better visual for like the TV cameras. And, you know, maybe, I mean, I don't even want to turn around and say maybe it'll put attacking teams off and think and it'll encourage us. I can't make that comment, but I think it's better from a visual perspective. Definitely being behind the goal. But let's see. Ali McCoist forced into Rangers cell for clarification live on air as he receives dogs abuse. What's that all about? Ali McCoist receiving dogs abuse. But right, Yilmaz looks like he will be back in contention for the game against Lyon. And this year he's actually included in the Europa League squad. That's another thing that Beale did last season that just did us all the wrong way. He didn't include Yilmaz in the squad. What's that about? Didn't understand that in the slightest. Tell you what, I seen Fabio Silva missed an absolute open net yesterday, and he did score a chip, to be fair. So it wasn't all doom and gloom, but I tell you what, there is a serious lack of Rangers news floating about. You know, there's a reason why live streams can't get done 4 times a day. You know, I'm not going to ask a question of the day either, but where is the Rangers news? There's nothing, man. You know, Flockhart Tierney has been urged to raise his level. I thought he had an absolute hissy fit. He had a proper meltdown against Hibs. You know, he did a back pass. The crowd were getting on his back, and he screamed something in his native tongue. I don't know what he screamed in his native tongue, but I mean, come on. I mean, I guess another thing he talked about in his presser, he says, and I quote, though I just spoke with him about the game and the story we're making better and better. He didn't play too many games last season, so we need to raise his level in that way to be able to perform every 2 days, and that's a normal story. End of quote. Yeah, but every 2 days, how about you rest him then? You know what I mean? If he's not ready to play every couple of days, because obviously, you know, Thursday, Sunday, it can be tough, but why are you playing him then? You know, we've seen Bajrami get rested. And no, I don't get. Bajrami turned around and said that he was ready to go after the international break. So he's not a guy that lacks match fitness. If Tierney is a guy that lacks match fitness, which judging by, I mean, the lack of performance over the last couple of games, you would think so. But don't really understand why Tierney is beginning. I mean, he seems to be like one of the first names on that team sheet, despite being one of the worst. Everyone has goals at Lawrence, but you know what? Lawrence scored against Dundee United. He scored against Hibs. It's no bad. But anyway, I mean, I think we're going to end this pretty soon because there's not much to talk about, and there's not been one comment. And if there's not been one comment, I can't really read the room. I can't talk about the comments, but get your questions in quickly and I'll answer them. But I mean, in terms of Rangers, I mean, the Lyon game, I think we'll get a draw. I mean, this isn't exactly my preview. I think I'll save my preview for the morrow. But I'm expecting decent things for Rangers. I'm expecting a better performance. You know, a few players get rested on Sunday, so I see no reason why not to be able to come back on Thursday and hopefully, you know, a draw would be a decent result. Because if we pick up a draw, right, then you've got Stade Bucharest, and that should be 3 points. That puts you on 7. And then, if you remember, our last game was against Union Saint Galoise, and that hopefully is your 10, and that's without even picking up a point in the other 4 games. Which here, if you pick, there's no reason why you can't pick up, at a point at Old. I mean, Old United are awful. They're keeping Ten Hag, so for me, you never really know what's are in the. Well, I said they're keeping Ten Hag. Our games in January. I don't know if Ten Hag will last that long. It would be surprising to me if he did. Anyway, that's where we're going to end this live stream, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. Until next time, peace.